Oh, wonderful.
Hi, I'm Maria Noto from the Orangevale History Project. We're here at the Walden house to talk to Carol Walden about her life in Orangevale. And I'm here with Ken Benedict, our videographer, and Carol Shoemaker, friend of Carol Walden. So, Carol, tell me what year were you born?
1935,
And where were you born?
San Diego, California.
And where were your parents from?
My dad was from North Carolina and my mother was from Illinois.
Okay, and they just decided to move out here?
And my dad was in the military.
Okay. All right, so I understand that then your parents bought land here in 45 or 46?
47. Well, they bought it. We moved in 47, but Daddy was building the house, so they bought it somewhere. Let's see, he retired, I think in 47, so they bought it probably right after that.
And where was this property?
On Santa Juanita.
And you said earlier it was 10 acres?
Yes.
And what did your family do with this property?
My mom and dad didn't do much of anything with it. We moved over there in oh boy, my husband and I and the kids, oh boy, probably 57. My mother broke her leg real bad and they had a rental. So anyway, we moved into the rental so I could help take care of my mom. And then we were there ever since.
And so you went to school here. Where'd you go to school?
Orangevale Elementary. And so did my kids and grandkids.
All right, and after that?
I went to San Juan.
San Juan High School. What year did you graduate from San Juan?
1953.
How did you get to San Juan?
Get to San Juan?
How did you get there? Travel?
Bus.
Oh,
Where it picked you up at Santa Juanita?
You know, I don't really remember where the high school bus picked me up. Probably. I don't really remember the high school bus. But yeah, in fact, I went to Orangevale Grammar School on the bus with Ernie Dietrich. You probably don't remember him. Anyway, he was a bus driver and his wife drove bus also for Orangevale Elementary.
And at that time, Orangevale Elementary was located, was it still at Filbert Central?
Was, yes.
Okay. Was it the house across the street or the existing building?
The existing
The
building.
existing building.
Part of it. It's been added on since.
So what are your memories of being at Orangevale Open? Orangevale Elementary?
Well, had Sadie Cable for 2 years, a school teacher. We had the Wu brothers who owned, well, their father owned Capri Market, and he brought the boys over, and they were going to school with us. Mrs. Cable was helping them.
What do you mean by helping them?
Well, learn. I don't know about English. I think they spoke real good English, but as I remember, and they ran the business when their dad died. In fact, the oldest one wasn't even old enough to drive a car. And I know Don used to say, my husband used to say that sometimes he'd end up taking him over at the bank over at Folsom to make the store deposits.
Did your family shop there at the Capri?
We lived closer to P&D Market and whatnot. I mean, we did shop the Capri, but not probably as much as it. I think it was Vans when it first opened, and then it was something else. I can remember the guy that used to that owned it after that. He used to come into the Folsom Bank of America when I was working there to get Friday night loans. They used to get them so they could cash everybody's checks. I mean, all the businesses did.
So what businesses did you deal with then?
Oh,
everybody?
Oh yeah, in fact, Aerojet had just started up, and when they started up, they opened up an account with Bank of America. Yeah, so we had everybody, because we were the only B of A around at that time. So.
Who were your friends when you were growing up?
Oh my gosh. Well, Jeannie Kelly still lives in Orangevale. Bill Keir, I know you got a letter from him. And there was the Kingsleys, and there was, oh gosh, Beverly, one of my best friends, Beverly Williams. Well, no, her name wasn't Williams, and Bradley. And, Shirley Wilson was her name then. She was a grade ahead of me, but we all used to go to the Orangevale Methodist Church youth group, because that was the only thing to do in Orangevale. And anyway, there's just a lot of them, but some of them are still around.
Did you know Mary Henter? Her name wasn't Henter then, though. She lives on Cherry.
I don't recognize the last name.
I know she went to Orangevale and to San Juan. What about going to San Juan High School? What was that like?
Oh, it was different from going from the 8th grade to high school. But it was fine. We were at that time, we were the last class to have the 4 years. They opened, I think it was El Camino, our sophomore year. So everybody that started with us finished with us. It was the only high school in the district. And there was, from Carmichael, Citrus Heights, Orangevale, everything around Folsom had their own high school. But anyway.
And were there activities at school, football games or dances?
Oh yeah.
Did you participate in any of that?
Yeah, not football. But I went to the games. They used to, when we had out of town games, they used to take a bus and take the Rooters bus. And I went to practically all those and to the home games. But
so you're what did you do after high school?
I went to Sierra College for a while, and then I got married.
And you are interested in horses, aren't you?
Yeah, I've had one since I was 13 years old.
And did you have it at your property there? And you're involved with Twin Lakes Riding Club?
Since 1972.
Since 1972. Okay. And I imagine you have a lot of friends in that circle.
Oh, well, yeah. What's left?
They kind of dropped off there for a while.
Yeah. A lot of the older members either dropped out of the club or deceased.
So, do you still have a horse anywhere?
He died, in 2018, and he was 42 years old.
Wow. Wow, that's his heart.
Yeah, he was on his way to a retirement home since we sold the property and everything. And one of the ladies that came to one of the garage sales said, well, what are you going to do with the horse? And I said, well, he's so old, nobody will want him. I said, I'll probably have to put him down, And she said, let me look into something. So she called, there's a lady in Lincoln. And anyway, she takes old horses and stuff, and horses that, anyway, she's selective, but she said, well, she really didn't have room. And then she said, when I told her how old he was, she says, we'll make room. And he was going to have a 40-year-old girlfriend, but he didn't make it to up there. He went down in the trailer and passed away.
Oh. It's sad. That,
Yeah, I think he didn't want to. He ate real good that morning and everything, but I think he didn't want to get in the trailer, and he always got in a trailer good. But I think maybe he knew he was dying because he was starting to lose weight and whatnot even. And I think he knew he was going anyway, and he wanted to die at home. But anyway, because he was eating apples and everything, but he went down on. It was a windy road up there, and anyway, he went down.
did you compete at Twin Lakes?
It was a joke.
There's a story there.
Several of them.
Was it Gymkhana or Western Pleasure they laughed the hardest?
Well, I thought it was a play day.
Why were they laughing, Carol? Would you tell us the backstory?
Well, one of the events, I think it was a play day. Anyway, they had one of us riding forward and the other one riding backwards. And Carol
And we
was,
were bareback.
yeah, and Carol was in the front and I was in the back. And she says, we're going to turn left. And I go around the barrel left or something. And I said, yours or mine? Anyway, we didn't fall off, and then at some of the Western pleasure classes, we didn't do too well then.
And what did the judge tell us?
We all had first place when we came in the arena. And after that, it was all downhill. And it was.
It was fun though.
Yeah, but, yeah,
We did the drill team too.
yeah. And I rode a little bit of Gymkhana. My girls rode Gymkhana, but I didn't want to go fast enough. My horse could do it because my daughter, towards the end, after she, anyway, didn't have a horse at the time, so she started riding mine. And anyway, she'd take first place, and I'd probably take last in my class because I'd say, honey, you got mom on you. Slow, not so fast. And Wendy was saying, go, go, go. So anyway.
Did you do trail riding?
Yes.
Where did you go?
Oh, all over. Yeah. We went down to San Francisco, to Pacifica. Went to your ranch every
We
year.
rode on the beach in Golden Gate Park.
Yeah.
We rode up behind the lookout over Strawberry Lodge.
Oh yeah.
What about locally? Did you do any trail riding around here?
Oh yeah. In fact, our house backed up to where American River Canyon is now, and we had a gate that went through the fence, and there were all cows in here, and especially the kids used to come out and ride here and then go across the greenback and down to the river. And they used to go over here to, maybe it's Henkel Creek. No, Henkel Creek's over there. Whatever this creek is over here anyway. And Donna and her girlfriend would go anyway. They caught some trout in there. So, but yeah, we rode all over Orangevale in the parades and in the.
For powwow days?
Well, it was started out as oh God. It was a different name to start with. Anyway.
Were you
Was
part
it
of the color
Siesta
guard?
Day?
Pardon?
Part of the color guard?
I think at times.
That rotated, but yeah,
Yeah.
we did that too.
Yeah. Like I say, at times. So.
So your property then, the 10 acres, was it all in pasture?
Well, it ended up to be 3 houses on it.
Okay.
Well, my dad built the one, and one of them was an existing one that he bought 5 acres when he got out of the military. And because the other 5 acres had just sold next door. Well, I think it was 5 years later or something, he bought the other 5 acres, so. And then after my mom passed, well no, mom hadn't died then, but anyway, we bought 9¼ acres of it. He kept a 3/4 acre out of the corner of it, and then when he passed away, my sister and I inherited it, and then I ended up buying my sister out. She wanted, so we ended up with 10 acres back together. Only it was 2 5-acre. Well, actually, it ended up being 3 parcels, but 10 acres total. So.
And your girls, where did they go to school?
Casa Roble.
Uh-huh. Did they like it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Don helped build it. He was an electrician, and he worked on it when it was being built.
We're noticing all these cowbells. Could you explain the cowbells and the connection to your late husband?
They belonged to his uncle, who was born in Fair Oaks, but it was Fair Oaks. It was on Hazel Avenue, but it was before what is now Madison Avenue. And I think at Leedy Lane it changed and was Fair Oaks, right in that area. And he was born there. And then later on his parents moved up into Orangevale, up Hazel Avenue. And his grandfather graded some of the streets in Orangevale and Fair Oaks with a team of horses.
There aren't any photographs, are there?
I'm sure there are, but they're scattered about now. I mean, different relatives have.
Yes, we're trying to gather that kind of thing. Pictures of roads, particularly. We have some of Greenback, but we don't have any of Hazel.
Oh.
Of the old Hazel.
Yeah.
So we're looking for those.
Yeah.
So anyway, about the cowbells. I'm sorry, I got off track.
Oh no. Anyway, his Uncle Bill, in around 1960-ish, he moved to Oregon. And I think he started collecting the cowbells mainly in Oregon. And then he refurbished them all. I mean, not on the outside, but all the dingers and whatnot all work and whatnot. So there's a couple of them that are engraved with the ranchers' names on them. And like I say, this is only part of his collection that I have, I have.
So he wasn't a rancher. He just loved collecting.
Oh no, he raised cattle.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of these bells were actually used by.
I
his
don't
uncle?
think these bells, because I don't think he started getting them till he went up to Oregon.
Ah, I see.
I don't really know. That I don't know.
Because you have quite a few.
Yeah.
Guess about what, 80?
Oh, I don't know. I think there's more than that, but I'm not sure. There's some, I think, up here behind, up there. Like I say, I ran out of room to put them, and there's quite a few on that wall by the little bathroom.
So you did most of your shopping, you said, in Folsom.
No. In Orangevale, it was the P&D Market on Main Avenue.
P&D on Main? Okay.
I used to work there during the summers.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was trying to think of the butcher's name. Bob, somebody. Anyway, he was a Folsom boy. My husband knew him.
So where on Main was this market?
Between Greenback and Orangevale Avenue.
Okay.
There's a little quick stop type market in there now.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, isn't that where that Bloomingdale's is or something?
They had the whole section,
Yeah.
except for the end. I think there was a motorcycle shop at the end.
I don't know about, well, maybe, I don't remember that. Don't remember the motorcycle shop. But, and then there was, I think it was Van's Market, then it went to, name escapes me. And there was also a market on corner of Walnut and Greenback. And I have a map, Orangevale map, it's 1966 of Orangevale. And it says the Orangevale History here, which is 1966 version. anyway, these were the streets in Orangevale at that time.
Yes. It'd be great to photograph that if we could. I don't know if we have one.
Yeah, let me take a look at that in a few
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Do
And
you remember a Chinese restaurant on Main and Orangevale Avenue?
Main and Orangevale.
Very small, real small.
Not off the top of my head. Oh, there was, there in the corner of, well, what is now Central and, not Central. Anyway, I'm trying to think of it. Anyway, you go down Main Avenue to, what's that first cross street?
Orangevale?
Orangevale, okay. Orangevale was between Orangevale and towards Greenback. Anyway, in the little corner there, kind of a triangle, it was called Dietrich's Corner, and it was a little bar and I don't know what all. I didn't go there very often because I wasn't of age.
It was a bar?
Yeah, I don't remember if he had a few groceries in there or what.
Is that where the road used to curve around to
Yeah.
go across the bridge?
Yeah,
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 they cut the curve out.
yeah.
Now it's just straight intersection.
Anyway, I've got another little book. I had one that was better, but I can't find it. Oh, this is Bill Keir's letter. And then here's another book that was printed. I'm sure you have it. It's printed in 1994, April 94. But, yeah, like I say, my husband's grandfather was one of the original signers on the, I told you earlier, of the Orangevale Grange Charter. And so we belong to the Grange. I'm not very active in it anymore, but we were for a while. But his grandmother, I think, was born in Orangevale. I'm not sure. He wrote some notes down in one of these books. I can't read them very good. Years ago, and he didn't have very good handwriting. Oh, I guess his grandfather, somebody owned 10 acres on Chestnut across from Tomix at one time, and were Hoftigs. It said the Grundmans came to Orangevale, which is his great-grandmother, in 1895 or 1896.
Do you know the family name?
Grundman, Grundman.
Grundman in 1895.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the ones who had the property across from the Tomiches on Chestnut?
I'm not sure, or if it was his grandfather. I'm not sure about who owned it, and I can't make sense of this. And his grandmother was about 12 at that time. So, anyway, it says who they married now, anyway. There's some more stuff up here I can't remember. Oh, do you remember the Spudnut Cafe or Spudnut? Anyway, it was on the corner, right around the corner on Greenback in Maine. Oh, yeah. Anyway, they used to make very good spud nuts or donuts, and all the kids in Orangevale got to work there except me because I had to babysit my sister.
Do I hear a little bit of resentment there?
Yeah, a whole lot. Let's see. And there was the Holmes's store up on corner of Greenback and Hazel. And he had a grocery store. I think there was a bar, and it was right across the street from the old Orangevale clubhouse.
Okay, so where the Capri or the parking lot?
No, it was on the other
On
side.
the other side, where Bank of America is?
No, on the other side. I'm sorry. There.
Where the Walgreens was
No, it's on the.
With the chamber
Oh.
at
where the chamber is now?
the old B of A.
No, it's on the corner where Cable Shopping
Oh,
Center
okay.
is.
Great,
I'm sorry.
okay. No, I'm sorry. That's okay. So and the Holmeses own that, and it was a bar, and what else?
Grocery store.
And
No.
do you remember about what years that was? That was
Oh
there?
God, I don't know. He was ancient, and I think the store was ancient too. And then later on, there was a service station, which my husband and his brother owned for a while, after Don got out of the military. And of course, Greenback Lane was only two-lane roads with palm trees on it. Some of those palm trees are in the Cable Shopping Center and whatnot. And there were lots of kids that got to work at Tomic's, and I'm not sure if it was Greenalch's fruit stand shed or whatnot down. It was on Pecan. I'm not sure if it was Greenalch's or who it was. But
I think probably because we just talked to Greg Greenhalgh the other day, and he was talking about people working there, his family, and wasn't that on Pecan? I believe it was.
Yeah. And anyway, a lot of the kids got to work there too, but I didn't. Oh, and there were the Ladies in White. Have you heard about them?
No, it's the Ladies in White.
Okay, Orangevale, North Folsom had a hospital or anything at the time, and after the war, or maybe probably during the war, I'm not sure. Anyway, these ladies all got together and I guess were trained in first aid type things and whatnot, and they ended up with an ambulance, and they used to go on calls, and they were all volunteers. Winnie Vestman, have you heard of her? Anyway, she's passed away.
Winnie, what's her last name?
Vestman, Vessman, I think.
Uh-huh.
And there was Vi Davis, I think was her name, that I knew.
And they had an ambulance in Orangevale?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Did this continue after the war?
Oh yeah, they were going, they continued for a long time.
And was your family involved in it? The ladies?
No.
Okay. Winnie Vestman and Vi Davis.
There are others, but I don't know offhand who they were. I probably didn't know anyway. And let's see. Oh, and I don't know what time, but in the early 50s, that I know there were two doctors in Orangevale, two doctors' offices, Dr. Granstead and Dr. Overholt.
Dr. Overholt?
Uh-huh.
And the other one was?
Dr. Granstead, Granstedt.
and they had offices.
Well, Dr. Granstead had one by the service station there on Greenback and Hazel, and then he moved over to on Main Avenue, in that area, maybe on the end. Well, the P&D Market wasn't there then, I don't think, when he moved over there. But anyway, he was our doctor, and he delivered my second child.
And Dr. Overholt, do you know where his office was?
I don't know where it was originally. It ended up being in the that little shopping center where La Posita is.
Mm-hmm.
He was in that area. My husband worked on the Folsom Dam. He was, I think, the youngest uke driver, truck driver, that kind of driver that they had. And he said he wouldn't have been there except he was still in the military, and he got hired. And but anyway, the first night he went to work, his truck wouldn't start. And so the boss told him to leave it, and that, anyway, he'd come back. And Don said he came back with a whole truckload of guys that didn't know how to drive truck. Don says, I'd have been among them if his truck would have started. But anyway, the guy kind of took him under his wing and helped him and made time for him when he was still in the military, and made time for him so he could work too. And
So he was in the military and working on the dam?
yeah, he worked at night.
At night.
Yeah.
And he drove a truck?
Yeah, it was, they called it a uke.
A uke?
Yeah, it was a dump truck like that hauled big rocks and stuff to build the dam with.
And about what time was this?
When they were starting the dam, and I don't remember,
Okay.
in the early 50s, but
Did he ever get any pictures of the dam being built?
no, we couldn't afford the film and the having it processed at that time, probably. I didn't have an extra camera anyway.
Going back to, you mentioned the service station that your husband ran. So that was also at Greenback and Hazel?
Yeah, and it did belong to Pop Homes. I guess it was, I don't know just when it was built. I don't.
Do you remember what kind of station it was?
I think it was a Chevron when he had
Chevron?
it. I'm not positive. And the store that was on Walnut and Greenback, which I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, they sold propane because we all used propane. Had propane tanks. And
So that was your source of energy? You cooked? Did you cook with propane and heat with propane?
or no, probably electric. I don't remember. But yeah, when we moved, my dad was building the house. When he got out of the service, they bought a house, and anyway, then they sold it, and then bought the property out here in Orangevale. And my dad started building a house. Well, the people they sold the house to wanted the house. So we moved in December of 1947, I think. And all that was on the outside, he had to put tar paper on the outside because all it was studs. And so anyway, he had to work on a very unfinished house. All the time we were trying to live in it, and we didn't have a kitchen or a bathroom, but the neighbors let us use their restroom, and I think they cooked on the oil stove that heated what we could heat. And anyway, he finished building the house, but everybody seemed like at that time built their own houses, or a lot of them. And I know the little house that was on the other property that had built, my husband remodeled it a time or two, and he had used scrap wood from the Mather Air Force Base, junk, on that house, because there were like end boxes from
Containers.
and stuff. And there was, the house my dad built was built all from a building he tore down out at Camp Kohler. And so that's how big the house was how big the rafters were in the building he tore down. And, so anyway. And, I don't know, I can't think of anything offhand anymore.
It sounds like a lovely life, other than the fact that you had to always watch your sister.
Well, there's 13 years between us, and there's only the two, or not quite 13, almost. And my mother was a teacher. Anyway, she went back to teaching, so the lady across the street babysat my sister when I went to school. And then after I got home from school, I picked up my sister and took her home and I cleaned house and started dinner and stuff. Poor little me.
Where did your mother teach?
In the Robles School District. I mean, she was an elementary school teacher. But, like I said, my dad got out of the military in 1947 with 30 years service in, so he was pretty young. No, I guess he got, 47, because he came back from the war in 30 or 45. Okay.
Any other memories you want to share?
Oh, I can't think of them right now.
What was Orangevale like back then?
Very rural. Even when my kids were little, you only went trick-or-treating to the houses just right close, people you knew, because it was too far in between and some of them had long driveways and stuff. I know one of my daughters they were all in the Campfire Girls, but one of them was selling campfire candy or mints. No, it was, I don't know, anyway, whatever Campfire Girls sold at that time. I was a leader, I should know, but anyway. So she could go to camp, work her way to camp. And I had to drive her around all the time. She sold all the candy or whatever it was, but I had to do a lot of driving because she'd walk up, up to the house and whatnot. And you weren't leery of people doing that at the time, and we always used to make homemade goodies for the kids at Halloween and whatnot, because they could have them then, because you knew everybody. But anyway, it's, yeah.
Besides the powwow days, was there any other celebration that Orangevale did?
I can't really remember anything.
We had that one real powwow day when the natives took over Orangevale Park, remember? And it had to be a really long time, because that's where I bought Fancy's medicine bag. It was from one of the Indians.
Well,
there.
I had to have been around because I'm older than
Oh,
she is and
yeah.
lived here a little longer.
But
But
because I moved here at the end of '74, but they had a real, and I don't know why they never had it again. There's no alcohol allowed, and it ran. I think it ran like 3 days, and they had a good turnout. But it was a true. And I don't even remember the groups, Indian groups, if there was more than one, but they did a lot of demonstrations. There was a lot of crafts and, their native dancing and their clothes and stuff. But how long Fancy wore that medicine bag for? How many wagon trains?
well, there's that, was it Stone Corral or something over off of Peerless in that
Yeah.
area? Yeah.
Which is a shame that it's not open so that people can actually see it. lived here 47 years and I've never seen it.
I've seen it.
Have you?
I used to camp overnight on it.
Park District owns it, to my knowledge, and won't let anybody set a foot on it.
I think it's the county owns it.
Well, that was my original understanding, but I think now our Park District has control of it.
We'll have to look into that.
I'll
Yes.
ask them tomorrow. I'm meeting with them.
I think it is a shame that, I understand they don't want vandalism, but at some point, oh, what good is history if we never get to see it?
I think the last time it was brought up was it was gonna cost them too much to put in roadways, bathrooms, and a
They can
docent.
have, during the summer months, they can have a couple of weekends with porta potties and guided tours.
I'll ask them tomorrow.
Thank you. Because that's always been kind of a thorn in my side, that here we have something that is so well known, but we've never seen it.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, we used to ride the horses all over Orangevale. My kids did too, you know, and I never worried about them because people respected animals at that time.
Well, we had the big wagon, or poker rides, where we would leave the arena. And most of us were sober when we got back to the arena. But how many houses would we stop at? 5, 6?
Yeah, at least, yeah.
I heard about the poker rides.
Oh, yeah.
We served at my house one day 12 dozen tacos. So
That was the time, I think we had like 65 riders or something. Or,
So there was no big issue about you need a parade permit or da-dot. No, you left crap on the road. The birds will clean it up. Come on, guys. But we did a lot of things that people actually treated you like other people. And they were tolerant.
no,
It's very unfortunate that it's what it is now.
yeah, we had the poker ride at our house every time they had one. And and they used to have sometimes a couple wagons.
Yeah, it wasn't just the horseback riders.
Yeah, we had wagons. We had a surrey with the fringe on top, and we had
We had a
like a
big covered
doctor's
wagon
wagon.
that one time. Who brought that? It may have been
Ron
Paul-
Peck.
Ron Peck or Paul Shen.
Yeah.
And that's when, because that was the first time we stopped at Roulette's house, right after it was Debbie and what's her name sold it, because Roulette's bought it from them.
But,
Because I got miffed because nobody would relieve me from sitting in front of the stupid team.
no, we at our house we had a big pool, and this was October, and some of us would go swimming or get in the pool. Maybe not swim, but go swimming, get in the pool.
You know, we had trucks that, oh yes, there was kids in the back of the truck, but we, you know, how fast are we going? You probably could jump in and out and not get hurt. It was better times than what we have now, and you didn't have to worry about people doing 90 down our streets.
No, and we used to come over here and Christmas carol after they built this, and Donna'd take the surrey with the fringe on top and a load, and I rode my horse. I didn't care for riding in the wagon. I did, but when my daughter would confiscate my horse.
So you came by horseback and then sang carols?
No, we had a truck up in front we had a person in the club that time that had a band at one time, and he had these big speakers, and he'd set up his speakers, and in the back of our truck a lot and other trucks, he'd set up his speakers and his turntable and whatnot, and play the Christmas carols. And we didn't sing too much, but we had a good time. And then we used to come, in fact, I still have a map of where we used to come down here. And
We went through a bunch of these little side streets down here.
yeah, well, down a little farther, maybe more side streets, but on this side. But it wasn't as, American River Canyon wasn't as big as it is now, but it was, mainly we stayed on this side of it. We came right past here, I know, but
So
anyway.
probably we would have come down this had we realized that this was actually a loop, because most of the streets that we went.
I think we did. I think it was. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But
But the people were friendly, and the parking lot down there that allowed us to park there with all of our horse trailers and stuff.
yeah, and we cleaned up after them. I mean, somebody made sure to, went down after,
Clean it.
went down and made sure that it was all cleaned up. And we had some people stay all night at our house, and one time we, I don't know why, but anyway, we camped right across Santa Juanita down there. We had a group going someplace. Anyway, we had some of us camped there, and I mean, we were less than a mile from home,
I don't think that was at Christmas caroling.
No, I don't think it was Christmas caroling.
I think it was, didn't we stay at the arena, and some people stayed at your house overnight after we had our big fire in the parking lot, and we were going trail riding the next day for New
They
Year's
did
Eve.
that, yeah, New
Yeah.
Year's,
We
yeah.
always had a trail ride on New
Yeah.
Year's Day.
And the ones that lived up Placerville and whatnot,
They'd come
down
down
to my house or our house, and our when we did the Christmas caroling here and whatnot, they'd come over to our house and decorate the wagons and stuff, and then they stay the night usually.
We used to have a New Year's,
Ride.
well, we didn't, New Year's Eve, we would have a big
Oh.
potluck over at the arena, and then we would have a big bonfire. Some people spent the night there, some went home. And the next day, we had different places. There were some times that we had breakfast on New Year's Day.
Not quite often, yeah.
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 Well, it sounds like a lovely life.
It was.
Yeah, we had
Really was.
raised cows, a few cows and horses, and we had some foals. But yeah, I know my kids got where I said, oh, one of them's, in fact, that cow head up there, I think she was one of our first cows, or was maybe the first one. And I'd say, oh, Olive's having a calf or something. And when at first they'd go out and watch the cow calf and whatnot. And then pretty soon they said, oh, I'll go next time. I know.
It'll draw the neighbors, though.
Oh, yeah,
It draws the neighbors.
we had one neighbor down here. In fact, she backed up to our property, I mean, after they built these houses. And I guess maybe she knew the cow was going to calf or something. Maybe I'd talked to her, I don't know. But anyway, she had a ladder so she could see over her fence, and she was up on the ladder. And she was there for hours watching that cow calf, because it was back in the back part of the property closer to her house. And so she watched the cow have her calf. And I had campfire girls, and I said, we had a mare that was going to foal. And I said, ask all the parents, I said, should it happen when the girls are here, is it okay if they see it? Oh, sure, I mean, at that time. And anyway, it didn't happen. She had it at night.
They have a way of
Between-
doing when you're not watching.
Between the 5 minutes that I was going out and checking on her every few minutes, and anyway, she had it in between, but beside the point. We have one that the neighbors came down, and Don was taking Polaroid pictures of the horse having a foal, and he kept handing them to everybody to hold till they dried. But yeah, we did a lot of pulled calves and whatnot. It was
Were
interesting.
you ever involved in the Casa Roble FFA?
No. My oldest daughter, I think she said she was in fact I was talking to her yesterday about it, and I think she said she was in the first class that went 4 years at CASA. And she was school mascot and whatnot, but she wasn't. She was interested in animals, but in fact, when she went to Sierra College, she talked us into getting a lamb. And I said, Cindy, we don't like lamb. And she says, oh, yeah, we got to raise a lamb, you know. At that time, I think it was 10,000 coyotes can't be wrong or something. And so anyway, we raised this lamb and then we butchered it. And I put it in real small packages because I thought, we're not going to eat this stuff. And I guess before we just had mutton. And anyway, we had lamb, and it was so good that I had to open 2 or 3 packages because everybody loved it. So we raised. The coyotes did like the lambs, so we had to be careful. But anyway, so my mother-in-law was over one day, and we had the ewe was going to have her lamb, and she said she was raised around, you know, the animals. The horses and everything, but her parents never let them watch a birth. And so anyway, she was an older lady by then, and she watched the ewe have her lamb. So it was an experience for her. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much for giving us your time and sharing your memories.
I'm sorry,
with
I
us.
can't remember more. I mean, that's why I said I would like more to be in a group, because somebody would remember something, then I kind of...
We're talking about doing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because, I mean, I would like to go to it. You know, I don't have to say anything, but I would like to go to it. Would be very interested.
Good.
So,